Okay, so here's the final result, more or less final. These are the 9 that I end up doing. You can see they came out pretty good. There's a couple with some blemishes that I ended up holding the nozzle too close and for too long. Okay, this is the one that was painted black originally. You can see it came out pretty nice. They all came out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with the finish. The next step is to protect it. I can't touch this and I can't leave it out in the air much longer than this. It will start to tarnish. It's silver after all, so I have to protect it. So let me say this about the kits. You get everything you need in the kit if you aren't like me and constantly experimenting and trying to find a way that's cheaper and easier and cleaner and all that good stuff. Then you can just go directly with what's in the kit. It took me a long time to figure out what would actually protect this without costing me a bunch of money, without having to get out special equipment like a sprayer and all that stuff. That you can do this in an apartment if you wanted to. A chemical that would protect it and carry paint and then be clear coated easily later, and a chemical that wouldn't cost me a mint. So, drum roll, I'll show you what I discovered. Pledge floor wax. Can you believe it? This stuff, I know that airbrushers use this to thin paint and to set paint and to fix surfaces for paint. So I had it on hand, and quite frankly, it dries crystal clear, shiny, and hard. It's acrylic after all, and that's my secret. It's not really a secret, but that's my technique. I'll dip it head first, let it dry, dip it tail first, and that's it. I can handle it after that. I can spray it with paint and all that. Let me show you. Okay, so what I have here is my dipping station. This is just a block of wood, piece of 2x4 with some PVC stuck in their own little end caps. And I made my own caps. This was made on the lathe. That's a recent make. And some rubber caps. So here I have the clear fluid. You can see it's just wax, easy to clean up, paper and water, cleans it right up. No worries about odor, vapors. I'll tell you this, be real careful with the clear coats they send you in those kits. They're really meant for professional use, and you really are supposed to have a real respirator. So I would suggest you find a better way. This is a better way, actually. So this is what I do. Simple as making sure I don't have any dust on it, and then I just lower it into the mix. There's nothing special about this. And I raise it out and let it drip on a piece of paper. It doesn't form bubbles. Now I'm going to show you something very subtle. I hope that the camera can pick it up. I'm not sure this is going to show, but the one on the right, the long slender one, there's a little bit of a yellow hue to it already. Now that's not anything I applied to it. What that is that when you have a really reflective surface and you have a clear coat, what happens is that the clear coat acts as a color filter, and it prefers yellow. To offset that yellowing, the trick is to have a little bit of violet in your initial clear. Now you can do that with your clear coat. You can get the violet pigmenting for resins through just about any like custom resin place. Alumalite carries it. It's easy to buy there because they sell it in small portions. So, but what I have done, obviously always looking for just a slightly different method, my way, I guess. I'm always looking for my way. I have mixed in this is exactly the same thing as this, but I have blended in it some transparent airbrush paint that's violet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dip it in the violet, and let's see if it helps. There you go. So the yellow is pretty much all gone. It goes back to sort of that pale silver color. I usually do that, give it a violet coat and then a clear coat of this stuff, and then we move on to painting. Well, I'm pretty happy with these results. it's sporadic when you make these things. Be ready for some disappointments. I've gotten pretty creative with paint to be able to hide many of the little tiny blemishes and spots. But this one's ready to paint in a couple of hours. If you were wondering the cost, I did a rough calculation and it costs about $1 per lure on a lure this size, so it isn't free, that's for sure. But it's very satisfying to put it on when it goes on right, and it looks really fantastic. It creates a really fantastic base to paint over. Gives you that really kind of inner glow. I'm going to put the names of some of the products, of some sources for this stuff. There's a place here in the US that I know of that does a pretty good job. And maybe later on we'll do some painting on these things in a future video. So like always, thanks for watching. If you have questions, please ask questions. If you have comments, leave comments. That's fantastic. If you have your own techniques for doing this, man, share. And share these videos with your friends, your fishing buddies, and other lure makers. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share, please comment. I respond to everything I can possibly respond to. Alright, so we're ready to move on to some other topics. See you on the next video.